Hi, today we're going to read two more stories from Once Upon a Time by Logan Uber and Meredith Moriarty. First story we're going to read is Beauty and the Beast. Once upon a time, there lived a rich merchant who had 3 daughters. The youngest, Belle, was a kind-hearted girl who loved to read. One day, the merchant's business took him to the city, and his children asked him to bring back gifts. The 2 elder sisters wanted jewels and fine dresses, but Belle requested only a rose. On his way home, a fierce snowstorm swept across the land, and the merchant took shelter in a palace. Inside, he found food and drink and a warm bed, though he saw no one the whole time he was there. The next morning, before he set off for home, the merchant plucked a rose from a bush in the palace gardens. Suddenly, a hideous beast appeared. The creature condemned the merchant to death, for the ungrateful man had stolen from him after the beast had saved his life. When the merchant said that the rose was for Belle, the beast allowed the merchant to go home, as long as he or one of his daughters would return. At home, the merchant told his family of his misfortune, and Belle decided to go in his place. Belle lived happily at the palace for many months, and grew to care for the beast. When she told the beast that she loved him and would marry him, he was instantly transformed into a handsome prince. Suddenly, Belle, the beast, and her whole family were transported to the prince's kingdom, where Belle and the prince were married and lived in perfect happiness. And the other story we're going to read is Cinderella. In a faraway land, a gentleman lived with his daughter. The girl's mother had passed away when she was young, and her father married the haughtiest and proudest woman in the world. She had 2 daughters who were like her in every way, and they treated their stepsister very poorly. The man's daughter was forced to do all of the chores, and when she was done, she would sit by the chimney among the cinders. For this reason, she was called Cinderella. One day, the prince decided to throw a grand ball and set out invitations to all the citizens of his kingdom. After her stepsisters departed for the gala, Cinderella began to cry. Her fairy godmother appeared and asked what was wrong. Cinderella told her that she wanted to attend the prince's ball, but she had no dress to wear and no coach to take her. With a wave of her wand, the fairy transformed a pumpkin into a beautiful coach, 6 mice into fine horses, a rat into a coachman, and 6 lizards into footmen. With another wave, Cinderella's tattered rags became a dress of gold and silver, covered with jewels, and on her feet appeared a pair of glass slippers. With a warning not to stay past midnight, lest all the changes revert to their previous states, her godmother sent her on her way to the ball. At the ball, the prince danced with Cinderella and thought of no one else. It was not until the clock began to strike 12 that she realized how late it had become. Cinderella fled the castle, but in her haste left one of her glass slippers behind. The prince sent a proclamation that he would marry the lady whose foot fit the glass slipper, and traveled all across the kingdom searching for the girl that had won his affection. When Cinderella tried on the slipper, she also pulled out a second one and placed it on her other foot. A few days later, Cinderella and the prince were married.